It was supposed to be September 20th, but your unprofessionalism and your unprofessional team weren't ready.
I don't need to fight you when you want to fight. I've lost. I don't need you.
No, it's not. It's not when I wanted. It's when everybody wanted. When Turk Al-Sheikh wanted. When the whole team had agreed and arranged for the fight to happen. You know what happens when you have an agreement? Do you know what happens? You know when you sign a contract? Do you know what that is?
I didn't sign a contract.
Do you know what that is?
To fight you on
Do you know what that is?
It would be so hard for that boy to make the weight, and you know, for the sake of whatever money he's getting, let's just hope that he doesn't get hurt and both the fighters can go home safely.
If you feel so strongly about something and it is your life, you're not going to have some fucker just make up bullshit, particularly when you're talking about stopping an ambulance. You know, that is an accusation that could cost someone their life. And if you think that we are the kind of people, and I'm, you know, the kind of individual, we are the kind of company that would stop an ambulance from getting a fighter to the hospital, then you are some kind of plump. And it's not just a case of, oh, don't worry about it, you know, it's only a press.
Conor Benn stunned fans at the press conference with a raw admission that peeled back the curtain on his mentality. He confessed that greed took over the moment he landed clean. Instead of sticking to the plan, he chased the knockout and his strategy fell apart before his eyes. That isn't the voice of a fighter brimming with...
It's just too greedy in there, looking for the headshots. Game plan went out the window. As soon as I hit him in the third round, it was a matter of... It felt like I was always one punch away from closing the show. And I was looking for that one punch, you know, and...
Confidence. It's the sound of doubt creeping in. Chris Eubank Jr. thrives in such moments. Where Benn shows volatility, Eubank radiates composure. He's calm under pressure, measured when the spotlight burns brightest, and never flustered by the occasion. Benn's admission revealed cracks in his armor, while Eubank's calm presence only highlighted the gulf in mentality between the two. Calling Chris...
Anyway, personally, I don't like him. You know, he thought I was going to be an easy touch, which is why he fought welterweight. So, is there much respect there? Not really, but, you know, ultimately, you know, I'm ready to honour my side of the agreement, which was the 2-fight deal, and it's safe to say he's scared. You know, he almost lost. Could have gone either way.
Eubank Jr., scared as Benn attempted, is laughable. Their first fight already told the truth. Eubank dictated the action and left Benn searching for answers. This rivalry has never been about respect or friendship. It's built on hostility, ego, and family legacy. Benn may spit fire, but Eubank doesn't need respect to dominate. His edge lies in discipline, skill, and mental toughness.
Like I say, the fight wasn't a letdown because it was a good fight, but as an event, you won't get a better event than that, and they'll have to go some actually to surpass that, or even equal that. Let's just hope they get the same turnout in terms of the numbers, people going through the live gate and watching that fight, because it was a great event. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. You won't get world title fights that actually are a better event.
The intangibles that separate him from Benn. When composure meets chaos, the result is usually one-sided. Former world champion Duke McKenzie captured the magnitude perfectly. This isn't just a fight, it's a spectacle. The atmosphere, the drama, the generational rivalry have captivated boxing audiences far...
However, the intrigue that surrounds this fight, I've got young kids in my gym that are going to be tuning into this
Three
fight.
generations are going to watch it, aren't they? That's what's great.
You know? They're so excited about it.
Beyond the usual crowd, McKenzie reminded fans that this rivalry transcends the sport itself. Parents, kids, even grandparents tune in. That's the pull of Chris Eubank Jr. He isn't just a fighter, he's a performer who thrives when the lights are brightest. Big nights don't shake him, they fuel him. Benn, by contrast, often looks consumed by the moment. His emotions betray his inexperience, making him vulnerable to tactical opponents like Eubank. It's not just...
Honestly, this guy has zero respect for anything. And I hope people can see through it. Some will, some won't. But if you can't see them, I mean, that's a lot of what happened up there was just wrong. So listen, we go to work and we're in to win the fight. It's
generational in terms of families, it's generational in values. The Eubanks embody composure and tradition. The Benns embody fury and fire. That contrast is what makes this rematch so captivating. Promoter Eddie Hearn didn't soften his words. He accused Benn of showing no respect for his opponent, the sport, or the stakes of the fight. That arrogance, Hearn warned, could prove fatal. Eubank feeds on such immaturity. His weapons are patience, structure, and a clinical mindset, qualities that turn Benn's recklessness into glaring weakness. This isn't just another fight, Hearn said. It's a lesson Conor is about to relearn. Benn's aggression and heart make him thrilling to watch, but excitement alone doesn't win rematches. It was his reckless brawling and emotional swings that allowed Eubank to control him in their first clash.
Conor Benn's Conor Benn, but I want him just to be a little bit smarter. We can't, like Nigel said, he's just winging away. And the heart's great, the balls are great, but you can outbox this guy as well. You're going to have to stand and fight, because he's going to try and walk you down and be the bigger man. But
Physical IQ is the deciding factor here, and Chris has it in spades. He isn't just the bigger, stronger man, he's the smarter one. Even Benn's own team has urged him to slow down, think before charging, and bring discipline to his game. But Benn's pride rarely allows restraint. That pride is a double-edged sword. It makes him dangerous, but also self-destructive, against a patient counterpuncher like Eubank. Reckless hunger can quickly become desperation, and desperation against Chris is a recipe for punishment. If Benn refuses to adapt, déjà vu looms large. Eubank calmly exploiting his mistakes while Benn burns himself out chasing a knockout that never comes. Johnny Nelson has questioned how much Eubank can still improve at this stage of his career, pointing to heavy legs as a limitation. But that critique misses the bigger.
I do see improvement there for Conor, and I do think the results will be different the other way around in the next fight. I think it'll go the distance all over again.
Eubank doesn't need to reinvent himself. He already fought a composed, tactical fight the first time. It's Benn who must overhaul his approach just to survive. Faster hands won't fix lapses in judgment. Sharper combinations won't erase reckless charges. Eubank's control of tempo, his ability to dictate distance, and his knack for forcing mistakes remain his bread and butter. A second fight going the distance doesn't favor Benn. It simply prolongs his struggle. The first encounter was proof enough. Benn didn't force Eubank into danger. It was Chris dictating the pace, leaving Benn reactive and desperate. That psychological gap is just as critical as the physical one. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith cut through the noise with blunt analysis. Respect the power. Eubank hits hard.
Powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot.
Hard enough to end Benn's night at any moment. If Benn ignores that danger, he'll pay. If he respects it, he'll hesitate and dull his own aggression. Either way, Smith argues, Eubank wins the psychological battle. Fans don't want a sloppy brawl. They want brilliance. And when the stakes are highest, Eubank delivers. His blend of power and composure is a recipe for dominance. Carl Froch, never one to sugarcoat, stripped the rivalry to its core. This isn't just about legacy, he said. It's about pride and money. Conor Benn is obsessed with erasing the humiliation of his first loss, but desperation is a dangerous motivator. Eubank, by contrast, isn't chasing ghosts. He's seeking authority. Beat Benn once, then beat him again to silence the Benn camp for good. That's legacy. That's dominance. Froch painted the picture clearly. For Benn, it's all or nothing. For Chris, it's business as usual.
For me, it's a fight that probably means a lot less for boxing than what it does for the actual fighters. You know, the fighters, for them, there's a lot at stake. Conor Benn wants to overturn the decision. And Chris Eubank wants to cement the decision and say, I've done it twice. Bottom line is, they're making big bunts, aren't they? Big dollar. And they might as well make money. These are prize fighters. We can't begrudge them making money fighting, because that's what they do. That's why they get
Calculated, disciplined, ruthless. If Eubank wins again, the rivalry won't just be settled, it will be buried. And Conor Benn's emotional hunger may once more prove the very thing that destroys him. Conor Benn admitted it himself. His head wasn't clear. The moment he landed clean, he abandoned tactics, chasing the knockout with reckless fury. That isn't strategy. That's emotion taking control. And that's exactly why Chris Eubank Jr. holds the edge. Boxing isn't about rage. It's about composure, calculation, and execution. Benn's only goal, by his own admission, was to hurt Chris. But hurting and beating are two very different things. In the first fight, Benn landed shots and showed grit. And what did it earn him? A loss. Eubank absorbed his best, stayed upright, and imposed his rhythm. Every time Benn threw with anger, he left openings. And Eubank is far too skilled not to exploit them. Fans love raw drama, but once the bell rings,
of emotions on the fight. You know, so for me it was like, going into the fight, that was my aim, was to hurt him.
right.
And I hurt him. And that was my plan. I'm not going in there to give him
intelligence rules. And in this rivalry, intelligence belongs to Eubank Jr. Trainer Adam Booth praised Benn's courage, crediting him for hanging tough. But courage alone doesn't win elite-level fights. Booth spoke of legs, power, and size. The truth, Eubank didn't need reckless physicality. He controlled the fight with ring IQ, timing, and precision. Benn's heart was just another way of saying he took punishment without changing the outcome. Booth predicts improvement, but spirit isn't the same as skill. And here's the harsh reality. If Benn couldn't solve Eubank when Chris supposedly had heavy legs, what chance does he have against a sharp, fit, and focused version? The truth is brutal. Eubank's floor remains higher than Benn's ceiling. Tony Bellew put it bluntly, this fight isn't about fitness or stamina. It's about mentality and experience. You can have a world-class gas tank, but in a
anymore because his legs weren't working. He was throwing a lot of shots, but nothing had any real power or snap because he didn't have it in him, and so he couldn't force
a rematch at this level. It's composure that gets tested. Benn still fights with pride over poise. That's a recipe for failure. Bellew nailed the point. Fighters can gas mentally before they gas physically. Benn's biggest weakness is his anger. Chris, meanwhile, has been in wars, gone rounds with top names, and mastered the art of mental control. This isn't about lungs. It's about logic. And logic favors Eubank. Barry Jones was even harsher. He called the rematch brutal and warned it could damage Benn more than help him. The first fight drained him and exposed flaws. The second promises more of the same. Unless Benn lands a freak punch early, he's staring at another long punishing night. Jones insists Eubank is the favorite, not out of bias, but because he's already shown he can sap Benn's energy and spirit over rounds. This isn't a 50-50th matchup. It's a repeat waiting to happen.
Paddy shoes though, you've had 2 warnings. Yeah. You need to be careful, don't you?
You do.
Treading a fine line.
You do, but it's not the head then that comes in. So he's on one final warning for the head, but getting into an exchange in the final punch of the round, he's trying to win the round.
Yeah, impress the judges at the end of the round.
For Benn, the stakes couldn't be higher. Another loss doesn't just blemish his record. It shatters his aura, kills momentum, and wrecks his confidence. For Eubank, this is about closure. Beat Benn again and the rivalry is buried for good. This rematch isn't just another fight. It's about pride, legacy, and redemption. For Benn, it's about erasing humiliation and proving he's more than raw emotion. Yet every word from his camp screams desperation. His talk of smashing heads and revenge sounds less like conviction and more like obsession. Chris Eubank Jr., by contrast, walks in calm, composed, and already holding the blueprint. He solved the Benn puzzle once, and he looks ready to do it again. If Benn loses here, the consequences are crushing. His career trajectory takes a massive hit. If Eubank wins, he cements himself not just as the better man, but as the smarter, calmer, and superior figure in this rivalry forever. So here we are, one man fueled by desperation, the other anchored by composure. One chasing ghosts, the other writing history. The question for fans is simple. Do you back Chris Eubank Jr. to dominate again, or do you believe Conor Benn can shock the world and rewrite the story?